Hello, I'm Antonio Mora. This is the newsandnews.com Day in Brief on Friday, February 22nd at about 6:30 p.m. R&B star R. Kelly has been indicted on 10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse in Cook County, Illinois. An arrest warrant has been issued for the singer, who has faced accusations of sexually abusing underage girls for decades. 10 years ago, he was acquitted of child pornography when a jury found that the identity of a girl in a videotape was not conclusive. The new charges include up to 4 victims, 3 of whom were under 17. Lawyer Michael Avenatti of Stormy Daniels fame says he has delivered a VHS tape allegedly featuring Kelly and an underage girl. Avenatti said that, quote, after 25 years of serial sexual abuse and assault of underage girls, the day of reckoning for R. Kelly has arrived. Police in Jupiter, Florida have arrested New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft and charged him with 2 counts of soliciting someone to commit prostitution. Police say they have video of the sex acts and of Kraft paying for them at an Asian day spa. A crackdown on human trafficking and prostitution had focused on 8 spas in the West Palm Beach area, and police had planted undercover cameras. Kraft denies the charges. The character played by actor Jussie Smollett in Fox's hit show Empire has been cut from this season's final 2 episodes. Smollett returned to his show's set yesterday after being released on bail following his arrest on charges of disorderly conduct in filing a false police report. Smollett continues to maintain his innocence, but the scandal has had extensive political consequences in Chicago and D.C. NBC News is reporting that Special Counsel Mueller will not deliver his report to Attorney General Barr next week after all. Democrats are demanding that Mueller's findings be made public, even though the rules governing the investigation don't specifically require that. In a letter today to Barr, the chairs of 6 House committees said the public is entitled to know without delay and that withholding evidence could be a cover-up. Separately, Senator Feinstein said the report had, quotes, implications for the rule of law and stability of our democracy and cannot be hidden away. The House is now expected to vote Tuesday on a measure that would invalidate President Trump's emergency declaration to build a border barrier. It has 222 co-sponsors, including a Republican, more votes than needed. The fate of the measure in the Senate is questionable because only one GOP senator, Susan Collins of Maine, has said she'd support it. Even if it passes the Senate, Trump has threatened to veto the bill, and it would be very difficult to gather the votes necessary to override a veto. After an outcry from the Pentagon and Republicans in the Senate, Trump has agreed to leave a small contingent of American forces in Syria. The number of troops who will remain has changed throughout the day, but now it's reportedly approximately 400. That's about 1/5 of the forces currently there. Why Trump announced a full withdrawal without consulting military and political leaders is a mystery. The mission for the troops will be to advise the Syrian Democratic Forces, including members of a Kurdish militia that Turkey considers terrorists. They will provide logistical support, intelligence, overhead surveillance, and order airstrikes. The U.S. allied Kurds, who lead the administration that runs most of northern Syria, welcomed the news. Trump has yet to respond to the dangerously irresponsible threats from Vladimir Putin, even though he made time to tweet about Smollett. Putin says he's ready for another Cuban Missile Crisis and that Russia has the edge when it comes to first nuclear strikes. His saber rattling has sparked greater concern about a new arms race. Let's hope the White House is taking action behind the scenes, because there is no way Ronald Reagan would have been silent in the face of such threats. A very powerful magnitude 7.5 earthquake struck eastern Ecuador this morning. It was felt in the capital Quito and sent frightened residents into the streets of Guayaquil, the country's largest city. Some houses collapsed, but reports have yet to provide the scope of the damage and the number of casualties. Soldiers in Venezuela opened fire on civilians who were attempting to keep open part of the southern border with Brazil for deliveries of humanitarian aid. 2 people were killed and multiple injuries were reported. The victims are members of an indigenous tribe that has fought for land rights and support the opposition. On the western border in Colombia, hundreds of thousands attended a protest concert organized by Richard Branson. This all comes a day after a former head of the Venezuelan intelligence service and an ally of the dictator, Nicolás Maduro, asked the military to turn against the Maduro regime ahead of a showdown Saturday over Maduro's refusal to allow humanitarian aid into the country. He asked generals how they could be so inhumane, so hypnotized, that they would stop aid from entering the starving country. College basketball fans will be relieved to know that one of the sport's most exciting players, Duke's Zion Williamson, is day-to-day with a minor knee sprain after one of his Nike shoes collapsed at the beginning of a game. The freak collapse of the shoe knocked $1.1 billion off of Nike's stock value. Many observers called for Zion, a likely first pick in the NBA draft, to stop playing college basketball altogether and criticized the NBA for forcing top high school players to play at least 1 year of college. The NBA is now reportedly proposing lowering the draft age from 19 to 18. Botswana's cabinet is recommending lifting a 4-year hunting ban on elephants and allowing elephant meat to be canned for pet food. The number of elephants there has grown to about 130,000, which some argue is too many for the country's ecosystem. The elephants are using more land, creating some conflicts with an increasing human population. But others object, saying Botswana's tourism, its second largest industry, has grown dramatically since the ban, and that lifting it would damage the country's reputation for conservation. And honestly, would you buy elephant pet food? Yesterday we told you about how a tortoise, believed to be extinct for more than 100 years, was rediscovered on a remote volcanic island in the Galapagos. The Fernandina tortoise is the only one ever found alive. Now we hear that the world's largest bee, presumed extinct more than once, has been found again in the wild in Indonesia. The Wallace's giant bee is 4 times larger than a honeybee. As you can see from a picture on our website, it is scary looking. We have all the stories and much more updated around the clock 7 days a week on newsandnews.com, where you will find all you need to know in one place. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the right of your screen just below this video. Please follow us on Facebook at Real News and News, and follow me on Twitter at AMoraTV. I'll see you again on Monday. Have a great weekend.